All right. Welcome and review agenda items. Okay, so welcome. Enjoy the Chick-fil-A. I wish you could at least smell it on the phone because it smells delicious. So we will do recognition. If anyone has any good work items that you would like to share, be thinking about it right now. I will review the agenda items and we'll come back to recognition. We have revised the scheduling PTO holiday policy. We'll go over that. We have a new trade request form that's a little more simpler than it was. Going to talk about maybe a little culture change, taking pride in our work. We'll discuss Laura's stuff that she was going to talk about. Aerogens, a new, not really new cannula change. We're going to simplify that. A new way to charge items, possibly. We're still reviewing it, but wanted to let everybody know about it. Go over some charges and documentation. Go over Midasing some things, the documentation with that, and scanning compliance and railroad usage. And then we will adjourn. So back up to recognition. Does anyone have any good work to identify? Anybody seen anything amazing, good, wonderful with your coworkers? Anybody? Even if it's from a different department.
I want to thank Beth and Stephanie and all the people that come in extra to help Max out. It helps a lot. So I know Beth has a regular job that she works, comes in to help out a lot on nights. Stephanie's been there a lot. I know Alex signs up a lot of overtime, but I appreciate the help. Teamwork.
Yes, teamwork. Hallelujah. Jim appreciates extra help. Good job. Anybody else? I just want to thank everybody really for when the going gets tough, we all chip in and kick it into gear and save lives. Save lives. All right, moving on. Revision to scheduling PTO holiday. I have it right here. For those who are not here, you will find a copy of this in your mailbox. Can everybody see the screen okay?
Yep. I'm on the phone.
All right.
It'll be in your mailbox. So we kind of revised the overall policy. It was pretty broad to start with. So between the three of us and Chris, we came up with this policy. Again, we're going to see how it works. So starting off, Dia talked about the new trade sheet that has been devised. Again, once the trade is agreed, if you fill this out, one of the leads will hopefully approve it and not reject it. One of us will make the trade on the schedule, and then it will be documented in Kronos. Once it is official, whoever is the tradeee is responsible for that shift. Up until the point that it is approved by one of the leads and written in the book, the original person listed on the schedule is still in the hot seat until that trade is made by one of the leagues. The schedules will now be posted 6 weeks in advance. And just, let me back up. All of this that we're going to discuss with this becomes effective May 1st. So anything prior to May 1st, we are all starting on this policy with a new slate, and you'll see why here shortly. So PTO requests must be submitted in Kronos at least 3 months in advance. There can be a maximum of 2 staff off on PTO per shift. PTO requests are approved based on the order in which they are received. So the calendar that's in the office in there, that I guess what I've been told in previous has been, if your name was on there, that meant your vacation was approved. That is no longer the case. That schedule is kind of a guideline. So if you are looking to take a week off in June and you go in and look at that calendar and there's already 2 people requesting that same week, it's just kind of for a guideline. Those have been requested, they're not granted, but you already know there's 2 people ahead of you, so chances are pretty good you're not going to get that week. You need to look at a different week. And again, what? Yes?
So who's going to be writing on that thing?
Dia will be, because she will be getting, I'm going to say Dia or Laura. In Dia's absence, Laura will probably do that. If they're both gone, Lord help you, it's going to be me trying to figure that out. I'm very sorry, but I'll do the best I can do.
Okay,
But
sounds good.
predominantly, it will be Dia or Laura. And your PTO is only approved through Kronos. But, and I can't answer questions about that. The other 2 girls can probably answer more about where you see that and help you with that.
Yeah, I can show you, we can show you whenever, like, it'd be better in person now. But, and I'll try to write that up there on the calendar as fast as I can. I do try to keep up on it because I don't like to see that little notification very long.
And something new that came into play is, there's only going to be allowed 2 weekends a year free. And when I say free, meaning you don't have to replace yourself for those 2 weekends. And when we say weekends, that is a Saturday and Sunday. Anything more than 2 weekends, you will have to find a replacement, and it cannot entail overtime for the swap. So you either get a PRN person, trade days with somebody, but starting May 1st, it's May to May, 2 weekends without replacing yourself. And your PTO cannot be requested to include the scheduled holidays you're scheduled to work. So if it's your Christmas to work, you can't take the week of Christmas off as your PTO the whole week. You would still have to come in and work your holiday, unless you swap it with somebody. And obvious, you have to have enough PTO hours in your PTO bank to cover your PTO time. I would think that's a given, but yeah. So I think that's hospital-wide, but that, so you're up, Dia, for the rest of it.
Okay, so,
Any questions, hang on, any questions up to there? Going once, going twice, so,
So we still have to
what,
ask 3 months in advance
for vacation?
yes.
Yes,
for the,
But in return for that, the schedule's gonna be posted well in advance also. So then weekends, full and part-time staff will be required to work every fourth weekend, you already know that. Weekend option will abide by PRH scheduling policies. So hospital has their own weekend option policy. I have it printed if anyone wants to see it. And if you have questions, we can go over it. So once your PTO has been submitted and approved for your 2 scheduled weekends from May to May, then it's your responsibility if you need one of your scheduled weekends off, that you find your own coverage for that weekend. So you need to trade with somebody for that week with a different day, or have somebody work, but it cannot result in overtime for that person, or you, if you trade. Partial weekends will not be considered, so if you only need a Saturday off, you're gonna take that Sunday off too. Just because it's too hard to keep track of, okay, she, Saturday off here, she can take a Sunday off here, it's just too hard. And as far as holidays, weekend option will follow hospital policy. So we already work one winter holiday, we rotate that every year. We're gonna add the summer holidays also. Summer is when everybody requests PTO, and it's getting hard to staff the holidays in the summer also. So we're gonna do just like we do in winter, when we put up the sign-up sheet. It's gonna be Memorial Day, 4th of July, and Labor Day. We're gonna rotate them throughout the years. Like, so.
Awesome.
We'll probably, I didn't even talk to you guys about this next year, since we're already scheduling Memorial Day, so. But we'll figure that out. And it says that she's utilized to ensure annual rotation, work holidays, and allow staff preferences. Questions about those? That?
I like the only having to work one winter holiday and one summer. That's great. That's better than what it used to be. I think.
The whole point of the policy is to keep everything fair. And so we can keep it fair and keep it, so we can provide that medical care for everybody that needs it.
if you guys get this in your mailbox and you actually read it, I know it's hard following when somebody's talking and you can't see it. If you have questions, feel free to ask.
Yes, at any time. No question is stupid.
Yeah, this is Chris, and I guess, I think we started to do this, but I think it'd be important just to provide some additional context as to the why. So a couple points I'll make there. One, PTO is important. We want people to take PTO and time off and getting away from work. That's absolutely important. This is trying to balance that and do it in a fair and efficient manner against the staffing needs of a 24/7, 365 department, which we are. So, again, it shouldn't feel punitive. I realize it's a change. It'll be something to get used to, and I'll admit, like most people, I don't love change. So I'll say that first and foremost. The second thing is that, if you break this down and just look at the weekends itself, basically 13 weekends a year, you get 2 free ones. That takes you down to 11. If you factor in some trades and knowing that it's every fourth, it should give you enough time to plan. But yes, we are going to ask you to plan further in advance. We'll try to get those schedules out with at least 6 weeks lead time. And we didn't pull this policy out of thin air. Again, we looked at what nursing was doing, and theirs is actually much more restrictive. you know, if it's your scheduled weekend, it's your scheduled weekend. There are no freebies. I'm assuming they allow trades, but we just didn't feel like that was the right thing to do. So, you know, this was a place to start. We can be revised, but again, I just want to, you know, make sure we let people know PTO is important. We want people to take time off, but putting this in place was really trying to find a balance between that and making sure we're meeting the staffing needs of the department. And we have other tools at our disposal. I mean, again, you know, we can trade, you know, but, you know, what is not sustainable, and I've been involved with the department now for 5 years, and looking at weekends specifically, it feels like we've always had challenges on the weekend, and I think the majority of that is because we have not had enough FTEs just to staff the hours. But there's also been some issues where we haven't been managing things really well. So all on that piece. And again, you know, overtime and offering tier 6, yeah, those are options, but those should really be a last resort option. We should be managing the staff and the hours to cover the fact that it's a 24/7, 365. And again, it's going to happen where even with PRN, you don't have enough, but, you know, hopefully that helps answer if there's any initial reaction or you're sitting there saying, I don't like this and this feels punitive. That was not the intent.
Thank you. I meant to say all those things. Next. Any other questions right now? All right. So, how about somebody gives me one word that describes a culture that you enjoy being a part of in the workplace? Summer?
Encouraging.
Encouraging. Okay. Jamie?
Friendly.
Friendly.
I was going to say that.
Jim, give me a different word than friendly.
Comedy.
Jenny?
Helpful.
Matt? Stop barbecuing your pork butt.
Helpful. Was that said already?
Yeah, you're cheating off me, but that's all right. I'll let you.
So thinking of all those words, I'm thinking of a place you like to work. We should remember those things and always remember, like Jim said, teamwork is ever so important. And let's remember to come together and keep the teamwork alive no matter what. So I was talking to somebody the other day, actually a few weeks ago, and they said something I really liked that they said. Nobody's done until everybody's done. It's very distracting. Nobody's done until everybody's done. So when I started here 10 years ago, it used to be everybody called everybody no matter what, make sure everybody was complete with their task, their work list and everything was good. I think we've kind of sort of went away from that a little bit. So let's try to move towards that culture change a little bit. Teamwork, always, no matter who you are or who you're calling. Let's just boost our department up a little bit and get back to love. Should I love y'all? You should all love each other and, you know, Beatles. Let's just Beatles. Also, the golden rule is another good thing we should work towards with our patients, ourselves, patients, family members, and coworkers. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Just keep that stuff in mind. Jenny?
Again? You want to add?
Oh, look.
Just keep, you're talking, I'm eating. Oh, well, that's not fair. She just added me. Again, I think camaraderie is a huge thing in your work. And I kind of made mention to to Dia and Laura in Chris's office today. And I fail at this every day, but I try to be an example. I don't always do very well, but that's what I shared that with them, that we should be the examples. Again, if my feeling are, if I'm trying to be an example and I fail, I want you all to hold me accountable. Hey, you screwed up and you were rude, you spoke to me, and I'm okay with that. But I want you all to make me aware, and I think if we hold each other maybe at least to some accountability, that culture and our mindset, then we start thinking, oh, maybe that didn't sound the way that I meant it. So I want you all to hold me accountable for what I fail, because I hold these two accountable, and I expect them to hold me accountable for, so I kind of feel like if we all did that, but not in a mean way, just, hey, yes, hey, you know, you said this to me, and I don't know how you meant that. Can you explain what you said instead of getting mad, getting our feelings hurt? I think it would be a much warmer feeling for all of us. Okay, done.
We'll talk about modalities.
About what?
Touching modalities. Us. Nursing.
We've got some complaints and issues of, we're finding patients, like I think you relayed to me about finding a non-rebreather hooked to a bubbler, which nursing is, in my opinion, swapping equipment that they really shouldn't. And I think there's some CPAP stuff going on that's going to be addressed in somebody's talk here tonight. But I think nurses are taking it upon themselves. Oh, well, this person's on a high flow cannula. Maybe I should take it off, put them on a non-rebreather. And they do it themselves, which I have an issue with that. If they're swapping out equipment, that should be our job. And I don't know if maybe they are calling RT and RT saying, oh, just go ahead and switch them to a non-rebreather. I don't feel like that's appropriate. Go do it. Go switch these, put them on a non-rebreather so that we know it's put on right. Or call, if you're busy, call one of your coworkers. Hey, can you go up and put 603 on a non-rebreather for me? I mean, I don't know, maybe everybody else has different thoughts on that, but I feel like this is our profession. Those patients are ours. And when then we get a call, well, their stats are in the 80s. Well, then when you go in and you find them on a bubbler and they're not on, it's not appropriate, it falls back to us.
Any questions, comments, concerns?
I mean, the only thing that, like, what I would do, kind of thing, if someone's desatting or whatever, and I'll say, put them on a non-rebreather, I'll be right there, and I'm heading that way. Because they're with the patient, you know, and I'm on the way up. So, I mean, it's an emergent situation.
And that's
kind of
probably
thing.
okay, Matt, if you're on your way, but I
Right.
have to wonder that sometimes they don't get checked, or like Miranda found, didn't even know that it had gotten switched.
Right.
That's a whole nother box of worms. Yeah, as long as you're going up there, that's a different scenario. Cool. Next.
Me?
You.
Don't say, don't add my
Alright.
name to anything else, I'm gonna finish mine.
Can the people that called in, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
So, just a few updates. Aerogens. So we now have enough aerogen controllers for all of our vapotherms and our BiPAPs. And then, of course, all the vents, the U's already have the built-in aerogen capabilities. We're currently working on mounting all of those aerogens onto the equipment. It's going to take some time. When the rep came yesterday, there was only 11 pieces of equipment available in the room for him to hook them up. So if you pull something and you clean it and it doesn't have an aerogen on it, slap like a note on it or something, unless you need it right away, then obviously don't put off taking it with you. I work this weekend and we can try to mount more of them. But like I said, yesterday there was only 2 BiPAPs and 9 vapotherms that were available to be set up. So eventually those will all have aerogen controllers. Where the aerogen supplies is on the shelf, on the right-hand side, there are 2 blue totes, and there's a little package called a solo kit. It comes with the T-piece and the aerogen cup all in one package. You can use those for the BiPAPs and the vents. And then, of course, for the vapotherms, you need to use that AAA adapter, which is also up there in a yellow tote. If you don't know how to hook it up, grab one of us and we'll show you. Easy enough. It's going to help our workflow with those patients that are on those BiPAPs and CPAPs and vapotherms and vents for treatments. Any questions on that? All right, moving on. Cannulas and humidifier change. So Tina is our new purchasing agent. She's been working on some cost saving stuff to help save them money to the department, obviously. So right now we have the high flow nasal cannula and then like the standard nasal cannula. We are getting rid of the standard nasal cannula and just having the ones that are good from 1 liters to 15 liters per minute. 1 cannula for everybody. They're going to change all the stock on the floor too. And then another good thing about that is if your nurse cranks somebody up while they're waiting on you to get there, you know they're actually getting that liter flow and they're not trying to blast 10 liters through a 6-liter cannula. So every patient will have 1 to 15 liter cannulas. And then the humidifiers are the pre-filled, can't remember, 500 or 1,000 mLs. They're like the little bubblers, but they have a pop off to go on the higher liter flow cannulas. So 1 bubbler, 1 cannula, makes life easier for everybody.
I think that fits in their nose better.
Yeah, and that switch is occurring. You may not see it all at once, but it's in the process of changing throughout the hospital.
And that's why a lot of people are on high flows.
That's just because.
People do.
But yeah, but you will start seeing the change.
So what color are the cannulas going to be now?
The high flow ones,
Yeah,
the green,
still green?
they'll be the green. Yeah.
Sweet. Okay.
Because they're coming from the same manufacturer.
Gotcha.
But yeah, every single cannula will be good 1 to 15 liters. So eventually the entire hospital, all the old supplies will be gone. So except for peds, yeah. Peds and nursery, those will have their pediatric and neonate cannulas. Chargeable items. So made some changes in Epic. So underneath the inpatient RT charges section, there was like the gray quick buttons where you could select supplies. It was a hot mess. There was stuff on there that I didn't even know what it was. So we cleaned it up, built it brand new. All the buttons that are there are things that we currently charge for. I have a list of, because I can't change the name of those buttons. Like they're pre-named in Epic, so I can't change the names. I have a list where it gives you the Epic name and what item that is, like what we call it. So then if you need to charge for something and you're not sure which button it is, I'll hang it up in the department. There's a list. However, it may end up being a non-issue because they're also talking about a way for us to scan the yellow stickers and we can charge the patient supplies that way. I think that's a great idea. It's just now, we're just now starting to talk about it. CAD Lab is currently doing it, and we're going to work with purchasing and Epic and IS to try to get that going in RT. So you're in a code, you use 4 things you can charge for, slap the stickers on your arm or something, and then afterwards you can scan them. That way the patient gets charged, you don't miss charges, helps with money for the department, obviously.
Although we're not doing that right now, I wanted to mention it today.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna start seeing those yellow stickers on whatever we can charge for, and once you put in your mind, oh, okay, this is a chargeable item, so I need to start remembering, if we could scan it, I'm gonna scan it. But I need to charge for it now because it is chargeable, yada, yada.
Everything should have a sticker now, even the BiPAP masks. So, there's
More
that.
of a prompt to you.
Yeah, and like I said, if we get this scanning thing implemented, it'll be great, because then you'll have stickers, you can scan them if you don't want to type them in. Charged, so one thing I do want to bring up is intubation charges. So in Epic, under the vent flow sheet, there's the intubation charge. And then under the other RT therapy, RT interventions, there's that assist with intubation charge. You can only drop one of those charges because they are the same CPT code. So if you drop the charge for the intubation and then you drop the charge for the assisted intubation, the patient gets charged twice, billing gets angry, and I get emails. So only one intubation charge. However, if you're assisting with the intubation and you want to capture that time, you can do it under the RT interventions and then like the RT time capture. So you can still account for your time, but only one therapist will drop that charge one time. That's the main thing with that. So if there's a charge associated and you're only doing it once, you only drop one charge. Other people helping can document their time.
Always document your time, because even if we can't charge for it, we can still go back and say, oh, look at all the time we spent on this. Eventually, it'll help us, I promise. Someday. Someday.
As far as other documentation, I really want to say a big thank you, especially to Night Shift for the SBT screening thing. So the screening tool we implemented back in like October. This month, for the month of April, we were at 90% compliance on that. So
Good job.
90% of patients are getting their screening done. Just a reminder, the screening gets done no matter what, even if they're not going to meet criteria, because all it is a piece of paper saying, yes, they met it, no, they didn't. So even if you know they're not going to meet criteria, just fill that out. It's like 6 rows, basically yes, no, and then you're done. Yeah, met or not met, and then that's it. Takes just a few minutes. So thank you, 90% is awesome. Med scanning. Okay, so pharmacy is tracking the scanning compliance for our department. So scanning the armband, scanning the meds. I believe the hospital standard is 90% for scanning. So we're gonna be the same, 95%. So we need to be the same.
That's pretty high.
Some of the things I asked pharmacy about was, if they're in isolation, we can't take our wild card in there. If they are up in ICU and there's a bunch of stuff in the room, sometimes you can't get your cart in the room. That's where the rovers come into play. They updated the rovers. You can use them to scan your meds. If you don't know how to use the rover, ask us, we can show you. You can scan your name badge, you can scan the patient, you can scan the meds. So there's really not a good excuse to not scan meds. The only exception may be down in the ER, when you have an emergent situation where you're pulling meds and you're just popping them in. You don't have a wild cart with you, you don't have a rover with you. That's really the only exception that'll be made. And even then, still 95%, I mean, that 5% could be your crazy ER med situations. Yeah, I've been there. I know it's not always easy to have everything in the ER that you need to scan. But then when you think about it, it doesn't really happen that much in a month, because they track us monthly on our scan rates. So scan your patient, scan your meds, use the rover. If it's legit something where like the barcode won't scan, put barcode unreadable. Don't just put scanner not available. Because almost all of our non-scanned stuff was scanner not available, and then they were like, well, you guys don't have the tools to do your job, like WOW cards. And then we had to go through this whole spiel with pharmacy. So please scan your meds.
What did they say our scanning percentage was?
They broke it down by therapist, actually. So if you'd like to know your individual scan rates, I can tell you in private.
I don't believe it.
And the only one I have, actually yours is really good. So
Overachiever.
He's an overachiever.
That's you.
But the last ones I have, I think, are from December. They've not updated me since then. But if you want to know,
They were like,
You can come to me and
don't
I'll
have
show
it
you.
anymore.
that's all I have. Any questions over any of that? What? Oh, Midas, yes. If you see something wacky, please Midas it. And by wacky, I mean anything that you think is a safety issue or a concern. We've had several issues over the past couple weeks where there have been some pretty significant things happen. And the Midas, if a Midas doesn't get filled out, you can email me till the cows come home, but it's not gonna get in front of the right people. So, I mean, you can email me, by all means, send it to me in an email too. But Midas it, you can do that anonymously. You don't even have to put your name on it. If you're afraid of someone taking offense to it or retaliating, you can do it anonymously. There's a spot where you put in your name and there's an option for anonymous. So if you see something that's a safety issue or a safety concern, please fill it out. And it's not, this isn't to be like, well, the nurse told me to go suck an egg. Like, you're not going to fill out a Midas for that. But if you walk in and the patient's on a BiPAP and it's not hooked up to oxygen, clearly that needs to be Midas because that can harm the patient. So,
And you need to document somewhere the issue initially so that they can go back and track. When they look at the Midas, they can look at our documentation as to what you found.
Make sure your charting matches. your
Yeah,
lines.
make sure your charting matches.
because if God forbid we get taken to court, we want to make sure our butts are covered, that we took all the appropriate steps. And if you need help filling out a Midas, come chat with me. I filled out like 5 last week, so let's
I was
hang
gonna
out.
say, I heard someone, I don't know who it was, I forget, but they said that they don't have a login for Midas. You don't need one. It's just, you just do it, So I don't know if
Yeah, you
someone
just get on intranet, go to Midas reporting, and then you can bypass login.
exactly.
Don't use, some of the computers have like the little icon you can double click on to bring up Midas, but it's not the actual it's like Midas management, which is something different. So you can't log on, it won't let you. So just go through the intranet, click on reporting, and then bypass sign in. So,
And also another thing about charting, make sure you're charting titration, anything you do to your patient, with your patient. Always have a trail, just in case you do go to court. That's always in the back of my mind, I know. Just make sure you have proof of what you did and when you did it. It's important. Not documented, not done.
I even got kind of petty today and did the provider notification for Dr. Jingle like 5 times. And he called me just a little bit ago because he's covering his trails now. So, and it needs to be done. All right, that's it. I'm done, I promise.
Anybody have questions?
Just to let
Just
you
one
know
comment.
that,
Go ahead.
Yes.
just to let you know where we document that we change them, down to 3 liters rather than 4. Nursing doesn't see that. So I usually put it up where in a note where their oxygen level currently is, and I put a note in there, found patient on 97, turned down to 2. But they don't, when we go down below and change it to 2, they don't see that.
So I'm actually working with the nurse educators right now. They're trying to get the nurses to look at the correct flow sheets. They are actually looking at, they're looking at the retired oxygen flow sheet. But I've been working with, Hannah, before she went on maternity leave, and now with Nikki to try to educate the nurses on which flow sheet they can see all of that documentation at.
Okay,
When I
good.
turn somebody down, I always notify the nurse.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, we're working on getting all the nurses educated on which flow sheet to look at because they're looking at retired flow sheets and not everything crosses over. Same reason we can't see all their documentation sometimes because they're documenting it on the old flow sheet.
Anything else?
Any other questions, comments?
Well, I'm gonna break something up because I'm gonna be the bad guy in the bunch. I caught wind just in discussions, and so be it, that there may or may not have been instances that people have maybe loaned their badges to people for door access. Like if you forget your keys, you forget your badge. Oh, well, can I keep your badge today so that I can access the med rooms? Please do not give someone your badges to access doors. Nursing can let everybody in if you forget your badge or your keys, please.
And they can track which badges have opened which doors.
Right, so your badge is your badge. I realize it's a pain in the butt to have to find somebody to let you in. But it is not appropriate to give someone your badge to get in and out of a door.
Okay,
What was Chris getting ready to say something earlier?
Yeah, I was just going to make a quick comment going back to the med scanning. I pulled up an email just to kind of give some context. They went back and pulled some data on this for the whole house, looking at December 2022. For December, there were 1,319 non-compliant med admins on the inpatient units. Our share of that as a department was 354 of those. So do the math. What is that? About a little more than a quarter. Of those 354, 348 were documented as scanner not available. So again, I mean, it's a house-wide effort. I mean, now that we have the rovers repaired, I mean, that it should be less. I know there's instances that come up in the ED, but again, we're certainly not the only area where there's opportunity there. And you know, again, when you think back as to why, I mean, that one should be pretty self-evident. So just thought I'd share that additional context. And then I was just going to ask, or Dia, Laura, or Jenny, did you guys want to mention anything about the beds, just for everyone's awareness, or just to store it as a mental note? The bed approvals.
so today there was 156 new beds for the towers approved that are coming this summer.
I didn't know that.
I just found out. So that's exciting.
What's new about them?
They're fresh off the press.
Nobody slept in yet?
Matt, they have
Patients can hook their phones up.
Yeah.
The smell?
Okay. That's what I get.
Oh, they all have bariatric beds?
Probably not. We don't have all bariatric patients.
CPT bed?
I doubt it, but I don't
That
know.
would be nice too.
All I know is they're getting new beds. That's all I know.
Well, at least the motors will work in all of them.
Hopefully. What do you
That's, at least the waivers will work.
I can't, I'm deaf.
I know, I can't understand.
Jim has a question.
Can we get some more of the Dream Station BiPAP, CPAP?
I'll speak to that because it's an equipment thing. I would probably doubt it because I don't know if we have any money left in our budget because we bought all the vents. The only reason we got the Dream Stations is they traded them for the biplexes because the biplexes were recalled.
Can we trade some trilogies?
I have no idea how all that works, but as far as buying them, I know that's probably not going to happen. So
Probably not right now, but in 3 years.
3 years.
I don't know for sure. I don't know for sure. Don't quote me.
He's gonna ask you in 3 years.
he's not going to forget that yet. He shouldn't ask me
Putting it on the calendar.
But yeah, I know everyone seems to like them quite a bit. I know they're always like gone. So
There's so much easier.
Welcome to summer. She's going to be starting soon.
Yay.
Real, aren't you?
When's graduation? May 12th.
Oh, wow. Okay, real soon.
Okay, so if nobody else has any questions, we'll give some time back to you. Cool, yes? Thank you for all you do. Make it a great day.
Party at Summer's house, woo!
Treat others the way you want to be treated. Thank you, team.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for coming. Bye.
Summer, I hope you don't mind that I just invited everyone.